Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into the incredible story of Marubeni, one of Japan's massive trading houses. We're going to unpack its dramatic 5-year comeback and its seriously ambitious plans for the future. Okay, so let's just dive right in. This is the classic turnaround story, right? We're talking about a company that really stumbled, posting a huge loss, but then completely reinvented itself. And now? Now it's aiming for a truly mind-boggling valuation. This is the journey of what's called a sōgō shōsha, a general trading company, fighting its way back to the very top. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with what Marubeni actually is, then we'll track its incredible V-shaped recovery. After that, we'll check in on its current performance, break down its new blueprint for growth, and finally, see how it all stacks up against its fierce rivals. First things first, what exactly is Marubeni? And maybe more importantly, what in the world is a sōgō shōsha? You can think of them as the circulatory system for the entire global economy. Seriously, they're not just buying and selling stuff, they are global business developers. They build, they finance, and they operate pretty much everything. We're talking grain silos, coffee plantations, all the way up to giant offshore wind farms. They literally connect industries and economies on a massive, massive scale. All right, now for the main event, the 5-year transformation that completely reshaped this company from the ground up. This chart right here shows the comeback in action. Now, it's super important to know that back in fiscal year 2019, the company posted a huge net loss of almost 200 billion yen. So what this chart shows is their core profitability, what they call substantial net income. Basically, it strips out all the one-off weirdness and shows you the real health of the business engine. And you can see how that engine didn't just recover, it absolutely rocketed upward, a textbook V-shaped recovery. So how did they pull that off? Well, it really boils down to one crucial strategic decision. They shifted away from the super volatile boom and bust cycles of the resource markets. And now, look at this. Almost 3/4 of their profit comes from more stable, predictable sectors like food, finance, and consumer goods. This built a much, much stronger foundation for the entire company. Okay, that's the past. But what about right now? Let's zoom into the present and see if that strength is holding up, using the very latest numbers from their first quarter. And oh yeah, that strength is absolutely holding up. In just the first quarter, they've already banked over 154 billion yen in net profit. That puts them on a really solid path to hit their targets for the entire year. The momentum is clearly still there. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because this slide shows their strategy playing out in real time. Just look at the metals segment. It took a hit because commodity prices are down, but that weakness was more than canceled out by the fantastic performance in finance and leasing. This is that diversification at work, creating the stability we were just talking about. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And for anyone who likes to peek under the hood at a company's health, this number is a big deal. A net debt-to-equity ratio of 0.57x is super healthy. It means the company isn't just making a profit, it's managing its debt incredibly well, which gives it stability and a ton of firepower for future investments. All right, so they've built this rock-solid foundation. What's next? Where do they possibly go from here? Well, let's take a look at their brand new midterm strategy, which they're calling GC 2027. This timeline shows a very clear, very deliberate progression. It wasn't random at all. They started with transformation to fix the business, then they moved to execution to prove that the new model actually works, and now, with GC 2027, they are hitting the gas with acceleration. And that slogan, accelerating growth towards the next peak, says it all. This isn't just corporate speak. It's not about just maintaining the great performance they've already achieved. The company is explicitly shifting gears to chase a brand new, even higher peak of growth. And if you want to know just how ambitious they are, look at this number. Their goal is to more than triple their market value to over 10 trillion yen by 2030. To put that in perspective, that's not just a big goal, it's an audacious, moonshot kind of goal that puts them in the same league as some of the world's biggest companies. So how on earth do they plan to get there? Well, it breaks down into 3 main drivers. First, they're going to refine and expand what's already working. Second, they're going to pour investments into high-growth areas like green energy. And third, they're going to leverage their unique global network to create value in a way that, frankly, only a sōgō shōsha can. Okay, but a great plan isn't enough, right? You've got to look at the world they're operating in. This ambitious plan doesn't exist in a vacuum, especially when you consider their massive rivals. Understanding this balance is absolutely critical. The opportunities in green energy and digital transformation are enormous, but Marubeni isn't chasing them alone. Its top competitors, we're talking Itochu, Mitsubishi, Mitsui, they're all fighting for the exact same projects. The real test is going to be how Marubeni can outmaneuver them, especially since Itochu has become such a powerhouse in that non-resource sector that Marubeni now depends on. Success here isn't just about picking the right trends, it's about winning the race. Okay, so let's bring this all together. After everything we've looked at, what's the big takeaway from this explainer on Marubeni?
Why does this all matter? If you're an investor, you're seeing a company that has successfully de-risked its business and now has a crystal clear vision for growth. If you're maybe looking for a career, the focus on green tech, finance, and consumer businesses tells you exactly where the hot opportunities are going to be. And if you just follow the world of business, it's a fascinating case study of how a legacy giant can totally reinvent itself to compete.
So here's the bottom line. Marubeni is proven it can transform, but now comes the even greater challenge of accelerating past its rivals to meet its own towering ambitions. Can they actually reach that 10 trillion yen peak? That is the multi-trillion yen question. Thanks for joining this explainer.